Welcome to the Leafy Podcast, helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs grow. Say hello to your hosts, Jennifer Gligoric and Brian Price, founders of Leafy Legal Services, teaching you how to protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth. Let's start the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leafy Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. I am Tammy, the podcast manager, and on the line with me today is our host, Jennifer Gligoric from Leafy Legal Services. She is the COO there, and she has an amazing guest with us today. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Jennifer to get started. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Leafy podcasters. So today we have someone who's going to talk about something I really want to talk about, and that is passive real estate investing while you still have your W-2, and then industrial real estate. So we haven't talked about this. I don't know if we've even talked about this, or it's been forever ago. So we might have. So they went to Miami University, not University of Miami. I know, womp womp, because that's where I went. And in 2007, he got into the real estate gig doing brokerage. He did that for about 12 years, had a couple of properties he got along the way. And now his big bag is doing passive investment while still having a W-2 gig. So we really are going to want to talk to him. So everybody welcome Kevin McGrath with Cardinal Industrial.com. That's Kevin McGrath. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jennifer. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm really excited to be here. So tell us a little bit. Okay, so you mentioned your journey to us off camera, you know, and in the fun little part. But tell us a little bit about, you started out in 2007 and you were doing brokering. So talk about your journey and why real estate is cool for you, and just give us a little back history.
Sure. I actually I got into real estate because a good friend of mine at the time was in commercial brokerage, and he was selling investment properties, and I saw what he was doing and I liked it. And I liked the fact that there was no ceiling on the amount of income you could make, so that drew me to it right away. So I was in Columbus, Ohio at the time. I had an interest in getting into the business. So essentially what I did was I cold called every single head of all the large brokerage shops in Columbus and set up meetings. And kind of long story short is I ended up landing with the company that was at the time Colliers International, which is a top 5 commercial real estate company. And they had an opening on one of their teams that specialized in industrial brokerage, industrial real estate. And before I interviewed, I didn't really know anything about industrial real estate. And this was at a time when e-commerce or buying goods online was starting to take off. And it just so happened that I liked the people on the team. We meshed well, and they had an opening. So that I kind of fell into industrial real estate, and that was in 2007. For the first 12 months, Jennifer, when I was getting started, I had a salary. It was a small salary, but when I came off salary onto commission, it was August of 2008. Literally a month before, yeah, literally right before the stock market crashed.
Yeah.
So at the time, the timing could not have been worse.
Right.
But looking back on it, it was really kind of a blessing in disguise, because it didn't give me a false sense for what the business was going to be like. And I had to really learn the fundamentals and the basics. And ramping up and starting to make money was slow because no one was really doing deals at the time. But again, I stuck with it and got through those first few years and turned out to have a pretty good career.
Well, that's amazing. We talked to a lot of people that, you know, you're like, you just have this, PTSD about that time. So many of us do, but we all made it through it. Right. So at one time it's a mixed bag, right? Like,
yeah.
It was terrifying and all this stuff happened, but I made it through it. I remember for me, it wasn't so much the crash for that. It was 9/11. That changed everything in my life. At the time I was doing recruiting and building a personnel agency, and we were doing carbon black engineers. So we were heavily niched down to the highest, we were at the ultimate. We were doing this one tiny little subset of people worldwide, right? So that's where you want to be as a recruiter. That's when you're hitting the top of your game, right?
Yeah.
And so watching the towers fall. We were in this glass building next to NASA. I'll never forget the silence and the panic as parents left because half of their kids were at the NASA daycare centers. And just rushing to their cars to go get the kids because, you know, at that time when it was live happening, all of a sudden every radio station had rumors, you know, like, are we going to start evacuating the things? Or what about this? What about the plants? You know, here we have so many plants and everything else that are just, you know, targets. You know, every town has the places they worry about. And then after that, nobody wanted to make a move. I mean, people were just so grateful for everything that they had, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, just like, I don't know, they dug in. So people canceled, people who had been looking and said, I'm miserable here. They didn't want to move. People who said, we need to get someone in, they didn't want to do it. So I you know, at the time it was like, this is just awful. Everything's just tanking. But you shift and
you shift and adapt.
You shift and adapt and you get through it. So now that you are still doing your W-2 and now you're passively investing, tell us about that. How does one go about making that shift? Why did you choose? Why do you still think industrial real estate is great? Why should someone else consider it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll kind of unpack it. The first part is I'm actually not W-2 any longer. So
okay.
Yeah, I'll circle back. I did brokerage up until last summer. So the summer of 2019, I was a W-2 doing brokerage full time.
Okay.
I was investing passively on the side, but I wanted to get into it full time, into direct investing full time. So, you know, to go back, throughout my brokerage career, I was always trying to put deals together on the side, direct deals.
Okay.
And for one reason or another, I was always having difficulty getting deals completed, whether it was finding the capital to do so or finding the time to find deals that made sense. And I kicked tires doing this for probably 3 to 4 years. And all the same while I was putting money into the stock market, and that wasn't making me a lot of money. Well, go back about 1.5 years ago, I had a kind of a light bulb moment where, you know, investing passively finally started to make sense to me. So that's when I got into investing passively, actually in multifamily deals where I started. I invest full-time in industrial, but I started passively investing in multifamily.
That's how a lot of people will start, you know, doing little LP interests and different things and looking for tiny syndicates and trying to go to meetups and meet a couple of people to maybe buy a quad, you know, to go in on it or different things. I mean, there's just so many ways you can get involved in investing, and now is really the time to do it. We just talked to someone yesterday and he said he has friends who are like, yeah, but you've been in it for 10 years and it's over now. You know, the boom is over. And he's like, no, the people in 2035 are going to be like, man, if I only would have gotten in it in 2020, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, what passive investing has done for me, it's almost to the point where my passive income is greater than my expenses. And I'm going to surpass that figure here probably this summer. So, that's a big deal for me anyway, because, it's essentially that gives me financial freedom.
Yeah, that's a big deal for everyone. And what's a big deal? And I want to highlight that he was W-2 as of last year in the summer. So let's talk about when you had your light bulb moment and when you said, I'm going to invest passively in multifamily deals, and how long it took you to go from that to quitting the job.
Yeah. So I was always apprehensive about passive investing, only from the standpoint is I wanted to be the one to put the deal together and make the upside. And it took me, again, 3 to 4 years to get over the fact that maybe I wasn't in the best position to do that. And it wasn't working. So once I started to run the numbers, and I thought if I can get an 8% return on my money every year, via distribution. Now, you know, depending on the deal, it's going to change, but I look for an 8% return.
Okay.
On my money. And then after 5 to 7 years that your money is in a particular investment, it's likely going to double or come close to doubling. In addition, that distribution that you're getting, the cash flow, if you're investing with the right sponsor, likely they're doing a cost segregation analysis, and they're accelerating the depreciation. So you're paying next to no income on the distributions, which is really important. And I didn't know this, 3 to 4 years ago when I was beating my head against the wall.
This is important though. This is important to learn it, because this does sound complicated for those out of it. It's like, now he's using words, right? But it does make a lot more sense. Don't be afraid of passive, but you do need to have a little bit of a network. So tell us. I don't want to stop you. No,
you're fine. Yeah, and the passive income that I'm getting, again, this year I've only been doing it for over a year. I took all my money out of the stock market. I have no money in the stock market any longer. It's all going in to real estate because I want that passive investment. I want to have the freedom to be able to walk away from whatever I'm doing and be reliant on the passive income to live my life if I need to.
Right. No, that's just, and it's important, and it's just smart. And this is one of the only careers left that you can still do this. It's still very viable, and it's viable for a ton of reasons. There are people who get out of it. There are people who die and retire and do all sorts of other things. So there's more than enough opportunity, whether you're doing industrial or you're looking at, RV parks. We talk to people who are like, oh yeah, mobile home and RV parks are the newest thing. Storage is hot. There's so many different ways that you can do passive investing with the right people. So now let's talk about cardinalindustrial.com.
Sure.
So with cardinalindustrial.com, tell us about that. How did that come to be? When did that start?
Yeah, that started last August. Cardinal Industrial has been around for about 35 years, and they're syndicators specializing only in industrial real estate, and more specifically niched. And we acquire a product that is all called bulk industrial. So bulk industrial is warehouses that are 20 years or newer and have 28 clear height or taller. So I'm getting in the weeds a little bit, but it's essentially, to think of it, it's fulfillment centers that are built within the last 20 years. And we acquire these properties all over the Midwest, the Southeast, and in Texas. And secondary, Texas, there you go. Down by you in the border.
Oh no, I'm on a border. I'm on Southeast Texas. I'm closer to Louisiana. I'm on an island though, so we kind of don't count. We're only near Texas here.
Okay, we're in McAllen and Laredo.
Oh, okay. Familiar with that. It's like 9 hours away. Texas.
We have some properties there. But so the reason we go into secondary and tertiary markets is the properties generate higher yields for our investors. And we've been doing this for 35 years. I joined last August. I was familiar with them because they owned properties in Columbus, where I was from.
Okay, so now what do you do with them?
They're a small shop. We own about 15 million square feet across the country, which is a sizable amount, but there's only about, in the whole company, probably in the San Diego office where I work, there's about 4 of us. And in LA, where we're headquartered, there's 6 people. It's nice because I get to wear multiple hats and learn all different aspects of the business. Mainly what I'm working on, Jennifer, right now is acquisitions. It's going out and finding deals that we can put together and acquire and then manage.
Okay. And then you're looking for investors to come on board as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have mainly our investor base right now is high net worth individuals. Most of them live in Southern California, where we're both offices are headquartered. But we do have investors across the country, and we're even now looking to partner with maybe some institutions to go after larger products. Our strike zone is typically properties anywhere from 5 million to 25 million. And that's where we can find better deals, because once you get above that $25 million, that's where a lot of the institutional buyers are focusing. And there's a lot more competition.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we get, of course we get a lot of clients and we have a lot of listeners that listen for things like this. They're building up their portfolios, and we have a lot of people that want to go to the next level, and sometimes maybe the next level is I'm going to buy my first property, right? And some people, the next level is I'm going to go into industrial, or I'm going to start my own syndicate, or I'm going to do this. So that's really interesting for people that want to look at Cardinal Industrial. For any of our listeners that are wanting to go to the next level like that, or in it, or have familiarity in this niche, it'd be great to reach out to you for that. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing on the private side now. Are you just doing industrial, or are you still in multifamily? How's your private side going now that you're doing this with them?
Yeah, mainly focused on industrial.
Okay.
And I say that, and I'm looking at a multifamily deal right now back in Columbus, where I was originally from. Only because I have some friends who are syndicators. They are successful investors. So when they have a deal that looks appealing, and I have some extra money, I'll invest with them because I know them and trust them, and
right.
I'm usually pretty familiar with the property. So almost all my focus right now is in industrial. But if there's an opportunity in multifamily, yeah, I'll definitely look at it.
Well, yeah, of course, right? You don't want to leave money on the table, because that's the funnest thing anyway. And I know that we talked a little bit, we are huge advocates, and of course we do the solo 401k product. We set people up in them. We have one of the best back-end companies for solo 401ks and SDIRAs. It's actually some attorneys that own it and run it, and they're real estate investor friendly. So they get all the ins and outs of everything from tenant and common to whatever you're thinking to do. So tell us a little bit about, from someone else's experience, why that was a game changer for you, or why you love that.
Well, it is a game changer, and I just did it last fall, but it's going to pay dividends for me down the road.
Right.
It was a cumbersome process. I mean, I will say that, but definitely worth it. But it is cumbersome because no one's going to hold your hands through it and do it for you. They're going to give you some direction, but you have to do it on your own. And most people who are going to do it have never done it before, so they don't understand the terminology. I would just say, have patience. Make sure you have enough time to do it, meaning you don't need to fund a deal in the next week or two. Give yourself 3 weeks to 4 weeks to actually move the money or roll it over from your IRA or 401k into the solo 401k. But it has been a game changer. I had $165,000 in my 401k from when I left my job at my W-2 job at CBRE. And I just did the math. I'm 39, and then in 20 years from now, if I invest it like I'm investing it alongside my other deals, I will have $2.6 million. That 165 is going to turn into $2.6 million in 20 years. That I'll be able to draw on in retirement. And I did the math versus what it would be if I did the traditional route, the route most people go in the stock market. And at 10% per year of a return you're getting in the stock market, which is it's pretty aggressive, it would only turn into, I think, about $1.2 million.
Yeah, so think about that. So for people who are going, no, I want the conservative, the better route. Well, what's better? Having an extra $1 million with the same amount of money in your account, and the ability to invest in multiple different opportunity streams, and to use the money for your betterment. So let's say you went out and you had to get a personal loan for whatever reason, you needed some emergency. You're going to get hit with 18 to sometimes 25%. And that's with a tier 1 bank. That's with BBVA Compass or Chase. They do these express loans up to $40,000 with ridiculous rates. And people, sometimes it happens. You got to do it. You got to do what you've got to do when an emergency happens. So let's say you roll your money over there and you decide, I'm going to pay that off. And then I'm going to make the same payment, but at my much more favorable 3 to 5% or whatever your rate is with your program. You keep all the interest on that. So let's say you continue to make the higher payment, right? You're keeping all the rest, making money on the rest. Eventually you accelerate that, and then you can take that money out and invest in real estate with it. I mean, it's just like, making your money work for you. There is Chris Naugle, HGTV's Risky Builder, and I actually stole the saying from him and without even realizing it. And because I loved it so much, because he's like, why do you want your money just sitting on the couch, you know, like eating your Cheetos and watching your TV? It's not even really doing anything. Make it work for you. Make it work hard for you. And I was like, yeah, that lazy money it needs to be working. So yeah. Yeah,
I mean, the best part is, I mean, when you invest passively or do your solo 401k, I mean, you don't have to do anything. Once you get it set up, you don't have to touch it for 5 years or however long the holding period is. That's one of the best parts of it is you just put it away. And I mean, in a sense, you don't even have to think about it. Everyone thinks the stock market is the more conservative investment. And my dad, who's really risk averse, would never look at a real estate. I think it's the complete opposite. I look at the stock market as being extremely risky. And, you know, a sound real estate investment is about as conservative as you can get. So
yeah, it's land. You can touch it. You can hold it. It's right there. It's not based on, oh, there's a virus, this hidden virus. It's not as bad as the flu. It's not going to kill as many people as the flu, but oh my God, it's like really, really bad, y'all. And then everything's just crashing and then it goes up and So
how would you like my dad? I mean, he was retired, has 60% of his net worth, his life savings in the stock market. And a lot of people do. I don't want that tied to a virus,
right?
Or any other socioeconomic event that could take place. I want more security, and real estate has provided that for me thus far. And I haven't even been investing that long, but you know, I'm setting the foundation that is going to create wealth, hopefully in the near future.
Well, I mean, you have enough to have a passive income now to where if something happens, you have stuff coming in. Yeah. And for many people, that is the game changer themselves. That's what's going to make them not wake up in the middle of the night and go, how are we going to continue to do this? What happens? Like what happens, you know, like there's some office politics going on. There is some shift in the market. Let's say you are a market that your products and stuff are tied to another country, and things happen in other countries, from wars to instability to whatever. And now all of a sudden corporate is grumbling, and you wake up in the middle of the night having, you know, given your life and hope to this. Well, when you have a passive income stream that can get you through those times, your problems are better problems. They're probably bigger problems. Sometimes they're even more complex, but they're better problems to have, because when your worry and fear over your just basic survival needs are taken care of, you can think and do so much more. And for many people that are heart-centered people looking to make shifts that are better for our environment, or better for their families, better for their communities, now you're able to free up time that was done on basic worry of bills and food and shelter, and take those to, I can probably take a little bit of money to be a little bit of service, or we can invest in maybe a community garden, or whatever it is your jam that really gets you happy. Being able to get that passive income, that allows you to do so many other things. Yeah. You know, it isn't just about money and this. I mean, that's a part of it. We all need money, you know, it's just one of those things. But now life is a little bit on your terms, so much more. So
yeah, I mean, you know, people want what money provides. It's the flexibility, it's the freedom, it's the security, which ultimately can create happiness. And money can provide those things, and that's what I want out of it. Like you said, it's not necessarily the material things, but it's what money can provide, and that's why I think passive investing and investing in general in real estate is so powerful. And I think it's really started to take off the last 5-7 years, and more people are starting to realize the positive effect it can have on people's lives.
And I love it. You know, for everything that's bad in the universe, we are making this really incredible mindset shift with regular people. And sometimes it's just through podcasts like this, having people like you talk, to where somebody is sitting there going, he sounds like me. If he can do it, maybe I can do it. And the idea, and you cannot just invest, you know, you don't have to invest, you know, globally or whatever. Maybe there's some industrial company that's near you, although you do want to call Cardinal Industrial .com first, right? But let's say it's smaller beans or whatever. You can do this in your own community. You don't have to You don't have to be big if you don't want to be big. There are little ways you can do it to change your life. Well, listen, it has just been great, Kevin, having you on. We've had Kevin McGrath, guys, and you can email Kevin at kevin@cardindust.com, or just go to cardinalindustrial.com. That's how you're able to reach him if you want to do a deal, one of his deals. Be sure to research it first so you know if it's a pretty good fit before you call, because he's going to be very busy. And Tammy is going to take us away, but thank you so much, Kevin, for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Tammy.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. And thank you, Jennifer, for being host again today. And if you would like to get a hold of us, we are on all social media platforms at Leafy Legal. You can also listen to us anywhere that you can hear podcasts, again, at Leafy Legal. Please send us a rate and review on iTunes. If you're on there, we would love to hear your feedback. Tell us what you like, and we will love you forever for your review. And thank you, everyone, for being with us again, and have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware Statutory Trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit leafylegalservices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. leafylegalservices.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't wait. Take action now. LeafyLegalServices.com. Protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth.